Going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a good day so far. Um, let's get right into the pre-market gainers of the day. As we all know, SPRB is just absolutely exploding off rip. More than 200% as of now. It's all the way from $7. We're at 35. Ridiculous move. I thought when it was consolidating at 17, I thought at this level here it would start to die off, but no, we consolidated, accumulated in this region over here above all resistance, and then we saw a massive move all the way to 35. So this currently has stolen the volume off of every other ticker that's in the game, right? Everything else is just consolidating now. We look at the pre-market watch list, and you guys can just kind of see that, oh, okay, look at SOPA. This volume has completely died off. Not much momentum here, but this is a super solid watch going into market open. Let's take a look at everything else. LPTX as well. This is completely died off. Didn't even have much of a fighting chance after this initial pop over here. But let's look at ONMD. ONMD. So as well, this kind of just looks like SOPA, right? Just consolidating. Not much action on pretty much any uh, top gainer besides SPRB. And that's something to keep in mind going into market open, is that we have pre-market tickers that have been accumulating, consolidating, ready to break out. So when SPRB begins to lose some of its volume, begins to lose some of that momentum, we're going to see some momentum shift into one of these pre-market tickers, and ideally I'm going to be keeping close eyes on most of them. So close eyes, just watching them. I have my Weeble is set to 9 different tickers right now. So um, my closest watch is gonna be either SOPA or maybe even CRML. I kind of want to wait for market open to give you guys a better consensus. Today's um, it's not so normal where we see such a massive and strong runner such as SPRB, to where I could tell you guys, okay, we're able to watch ONMD or SOPA, and this is the top watch. It's very rare where we're able to see such a strong, just dominating pre-market runner such as SPRB that ran from $7 all the way to almost 40. It's a ridiculous run, more than 4x, more than 5x. So ONMD as well. Let me pull that up for you guys. Oh, this is the one I already have pulled up. ONMD as well. One very critical thing for me when I am deciding which ticker I want to keep my eyes on the closest into market open, which one I want to watch the tape of, the volume. I want to analyze everything really closely, and one very important criteria for that is I want there to be a lot of space from where it's trading at until pre-market high, right? I want there to be room for this stock to go. I don't want it to have just touched pre-market high and then market opens. You know, I've been sitting here for years, and every single time I see something run in pre-market, or sorry, in market open, 10 minutes in, 15 minutes in, most of the time it has a lot of room up until pre-market high. And in ONMD's case, we have about 30, 40 cents, right? So that's a solid 15-20% move on a $1.50 stock. SOPA, I'm not really a big fan of the setup personally. It is ideal, and it is the ticker with a lot of momentum as of now, but or sorry, it is the ticker with the most momentum besides SPRB. Everything else is pretty much kind of died off. Besides maybe ONMD, we don't really see anything else holding up as well. But I don't know, this setup is just not something that I'm particularly a fan of. Just because we have lost a lot of momentum, I would have expected us to be trading down in the 2.8s or 2.7s by now. we're trading off roughly any volume and we're still holding up at 320, which makes me think, okay, when market opens, we're going to start grabbing liquidity at the 3.4, 3.5 range and then head back down to 2.7. Now, I could be completely wrong. We're going to find out. It's just not something that I'm going to be trading in the first 10 minutes. I'd like to wait and see how this sets up and plays out, and we can go from there. ONMD is starting to fall under 1.5 here, so again, this isn't a red flag to me. I like the way that this is setting up. It's just that I would not want it to go any lower under 1.4. I'd want it to keep accumulating in this area here, and just trade as low as possible. Give us as much room to pre-market high as possible. It coming down to me is not a problem. It's just losing trend and momentum and volume going into pre-market. Going into market open. That for me is the problem. Also, I think, yeah, I'm also keeping eyes on FEMY as well. This looks pretty solid here. Lots of room to pre-market high at 98 cents. It's trading at 81. I like the way this is setting up. It's not popping into market open. That's something I don't want to see. Um, it just grabbed liquidity at that 76 area, and I would hope for it to grab liquidity once again into market open, because that says a lot more than liquidity in pre-market. I think FEMI has a lot of potential today. Actually, we're breaking through 80. I don't want to go in much higher than this into market open, but let's see if it starts trending at this 83 level here. Ah, FEMI. That's unfortunate. No, don't go all the way to $1 in the next 2 minutes till market opens. It's a really, really nice setup though. Everything about it. Lots of room to pre-market high. We just grabbed liquidity at 76, under 80. Looks really, really solid. The tape looks really strong as well. But again, like I told you guys, I don't want it to be popping. This is exactly what I want to avoid going into market open, is this type of action right here. Just volume into market open usually means that we're going to end up exhausting once market actually does open. So there's not much for me to be watching or keeping track of as of now. So, as I told you guys, SPRB really did take most of the volume from all the other pre-market tickers. So ONMD is downtrending at 1.4. All the other pre-market gainers are just dead. IONR is dead. I even have AMD up here. That's how dead the pre-market pennies are. FEMY on the other hand, this looks solid as long as we don't see a straight rip into market open. This is gonna be a very very solid watch for me. ARBK as well, just grabbing a lot of momentum in the last 15 minutes or so. Something to keep in mind. But let's see how everything reacts here. So SPRB, this is what we're praying on the downfall of. We want this to come down. We want this to lose its momentum, so that way we could start seeing volume rotate into tickers like FEMY, tickers like ARBK, just smaller penny stocks that we can actually have a chance of being able to trade. Right? That's the goal here. So let's lose that volume SPRB and let the penny stocks grab that volume. And I believe SPRB is halted down. Or is that a fake halt? No, it's halted down. There we go. Now let's see where the volume is going to rotate. SOPA is starting to get a pop here. Boom. Got dragged down. Let's take a look at SOPA. Dragged down into market open. Let's see how well it holds up. Accumulates above 3.1. But as I said, guys, FEMY is going to be my top watch. It's my favorite setup as of now, as well as ONMD. Let's take a look at ONMD. ONMD looking very strong here. So now actually well, okay. So as you guys can see, after this SPRB halt down here where we lost a bunch of momentum, grabbed liquidity to the upside, now we're starting to see these penny stocks, right? CRML, we'll go with that first. We start to see this gain momentum. We start to see SOPA try fighting for momentum as well. ONMD saw a pop as well. FEMY. So now we're starting to see competition in penny stocks for the volume. This is what we usually see into market open. So this is very, very solid. This is what I like to see. Now it's up to us as traders. It's up to us to look at the volume, analyze everything, and see exactly what is going to run next. Which one of these stocks is the volume going to next? That's where I come in and I say, okay, now let's analyze. We see that FEMY is holding up well at that 80 level, and it's just honestly looking really, really solid. So we saw a downtrend into market open. That's exactly what I wanted to see, considering that we ran into market open. Um, we grabbed liquidity at 88, came down. Now we're trending at 80. So as long as nothing else goes and steals the volume here, as long as this accumulates and holds up above 80 cents, this looks like a very solid candidate for the next runner. We also have a very important ticker that I have forgotten to mention just because it's not accumulating downtrending. It's, actively being a solid runner for the last 20 minutes, and that is ARBK. All right, so ONMD is starting to see a pop here. Now let's switch back to ONMD, holding up very well. While we see FEMY start to lose volume, FEMY start to lose momentum, as well as SOPA. SOPA just saw a ridiculous, ridiculous lower wick. Wow. But again, ONMD is my top watch, so this is where we're going to keep our eyes right now. But SOPA, wow, just grab liquidity under that 5-minute candle. Let me draw that level really quick on this screen. This is that level, right? So this minute was the minute after the 5-minute candle close, and this was the low of the 5-minute candle close. So this is where I want to draw my level, and this is where I want to see liquidity being grabbed. ONMD, this is looking very, very strong. And SPRB, by the way, guys, is exploding after that halt down, but it's halted up. And it's halted up, which is technically the same thing as saying, hey, it lost its momentum for now, it lost its volume, it lost its eyes. And we can move our eyes to ONMD because I think this is where the volume is going to next. I think this is what's going to explode. Just based off the fact that we are holding up and accumulating while we see SOPA is dumping currently. It just headed down all the way to 3. ONMD is my top candidate for volume rotation now, and I'm going to grab an entry past 1.6 here. 1.6 break is going to be my entry. I took some currently right now at 155, 156. And an upper wick here, I'm not really worried. I think that this has been holding up and accumulating better than anything else that I'm watching. SOPA is absolutely dumping, losing its momentum. FEMY is as well. It's really just CRML that is holding and uptaking momentum right now, but I think that ONMD long run is going to beat that. So I'm in ONMD at 154 average, and I'm still buying in right now. I'm about 75% of the way to a full size position. And I'm going to hold out on the rest until we see that 160 break. So this is what we're waiting on to slow down for ONMD to catch volume. It's just CRML, right? As you guys can see, this is hogging a lot of momentum, a lot of volume. This was the momentum stealer after we saw SPRB slow down and halt down, then halt up again, CRML has taken the volume from every other pre-market potential gainer that's trading, such as SOPA, FEMY, ARBK. CRML is dominating right now. So let's just say this halts up or this starts to lose momentum and breaks under 12.5, 12.3. That's when we'll start to see ONMD gain some volume. Volume will rotate from CRML to ONMD, and we're going to see that 160 break on ONMD. But as of now, ONMD to me is by far the best looking um, accumulation, low volume accumulation, and just future runner setup. And the best thing about these types of plays, instead of trading momentum on CRML and attempting to chase that stock, I could, attempt to find the volume rotation trade, which to me right now is currently ONMD. That's my best candidate. That's the trade that I'm currently in. The maximum I will lose on ONMD, the maximum loss I believe I will take just based on other plays that I've taken similar to this style, which is, pretty much every single day of the week, is about 5%, maybe 7% max if things get really bad. So much, much lower risk than trading a stock such as CRML where it could immediately just lose its volume and just dump 30, 40%, or sorry, not 30%, but 15 to 20% is very possible on a stock that's running like that. CRML is still making new highs. So that's very crucial, is to keep this on watch while you're trying to play something that's accumulating, because this is where the volume is at. So that's extremely important to be aware of. And as of now, CRML is still just absolutely hogging the volume. So Cos, I do agree with you. Volume does look like it's waiting for SPRB to resume. We see CRML is just hogging the volume as of now. It's not much volume, but it is all the volume that, I think it's all contained in there. And we see SOPA trying to bounce back, break above 3-1. So I think that's something to keep on watch besides ONMD. Guys, SOPA breaking through 3.1 here. I'm still in ONMD, but I started to take some SOPA at 314. It broke through 3.1, which is a very, very strong level. I told you guys this 3.1 level is the lower wick of the candle, the 5-minute candle into market open. Just waiting for CRML, as I told you guys repeatedly, to slow down. And as soon as it does, we're going to see volume start to rotate into either SOPA or at ONMD or both, because both of them, they're the only two tickers that have been accumulating and holding up well above their market open. And boom, there's that explosion on SOPA, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Ah, that's so unfortunate. That is so unfortunate. Come on. Wow. FEMY. Oh my gosh. I'm okay. Wow. That is absurd. What a move. Wow. Guys, as soon as CRML lost that momentum, wait, this is ridiculous. I think my Weeble just completely glitched out. Alright guys, I'm starting to take gains on SOPA here. It's just only 13 cents above my average, but my Weeble is completely glitching out, so I don't want to be in two different trades at once when I see just completely random things happening on my chart. I just saw FEMY, ONMD, ARBK, CRML, everything just shifted to either upside or downside, and it looked very realistic. But then I thought to myself, wait, this seems ridiculous. Everything just had a 10, 20, 25% move just all of a sudden. I refreshed my page and it was wrong. I'm not sure why the Weeble app is glitching a lot. But alright, SOPA, I'm still in for about half my position, but and I took the gains on the rest in the high 320s. Boom. Let's frickin' go, baby. And there's 3.4. I'm holding the rest of my shares for 3.5 plus. So I'm still in ONMD. But guys, SOPA has the momentum, it has the volume here, so let's see if we're actually able to get to 3.5. And as I told you guys, as I've been telling you for the last 30 minutes, a lot of this volume game, this waiting for the next ticker to go, just has really been dependent on CRML since market open. And unfortunately for us, because we have been in side tickers that have been waiting for CRML volume to slow down, CRML has not slowed down whatsoever and has been grinding on the 5 EMA since market open, which is very unlikely, but it is very possible as well. So we see that pop on SOPA, which the only reason I started to take gains on, a little bit more than half of my shares as of now is just because CRML is still hogging that volume. It is still the most consistent, most reliable stock that has run since market open. So that makes me, uneasy of every other ticker. It makes me hyper aware of every other ticker that's, attempting to grab volume and attempting to run besides CRML, just because of how consistent and reliable it's been since market open. And also, guys, keep an eye on ARBK as well. It's running. It's not something I would ever trade. I told you guys I want something that has a lot of room to pre-market high, isn't so close to pre-market high, and did not just completely rip into pre-market open. This doesn't follow any of my criteria for something that I'm willing to play, so but it is something that's running, which means, hey, the volume is here. It's holding a lot of volume, holding a lot of momentum, which means, of course, this is something we must keep on watch in order to be aware of everything that's happening in the market. And SOPA and ONMD. ONMD is trading right at my average as of now. SOPA trading 10 cents above, but I think I'm going to close out the SOPA position, which, is I'm gonna hold it for a little while actually. I think just because I took a 13-cent win on half of my shares, I'm willing to lose 10 cents on the rest of my shares. So I'll keep a mental stop loss, which I don't know if you guys know, but I never use a wow ARBK ridiculous. What a run. 80 cents. And now ARBK is the top holder of volume and momentum. It's no longer CRML. CRML is too slow. It's too reliable. ARBK just took that volume, and now keep eyes on SOPA, keep eyes on ONMD, because I think as soon as ARBK slows down, we'll see volume shift into either of these two tickers. Also, by Discord right now, I see people talking about the Weeble glitch and just candles being all over the place. I'm kind of taking it easy right now. Again, ARBK is just hogging momentum. Let me pull that up for you guys. So it's like, why should I be sitting here stressing about other tickers when I know that the volume is trapped in ARBK? So I'm just gonna take it easy. Just wait till ARBK slows down, and then we should see volume start to rotate in either SOPA or ONMD. I am in a much bigger position on ONMD than SOPA because I took half of the gains already on SOPA, and SOPA is the riskier trade as well. So ONMD, this is where I want the volume to rotate to. This is what I want to go next, and I still believe that it has a very good chance of breaking past 1.6, going all the way to 1.9, just because of how well it's been accumulating, making higher lows since market open. Just wait until we lose volume, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't break out here, because as I told you guys, I think we've just been waiting for the volume to die out, and we saw CRML, ARBK both run. So there we go. Let's fucking go, baby. ONMD, come on. That 165 break, I'm taking it easy here. I'm not scaling any of my shares. We've been in this stock for the last 20 minutes, 18 minutes about since we took this position. And if you guys are just starting to watch right now, you can come revisit this live later and just see why we took this ONMD position. But I'm holding full. I want ARBK to slow down, and I want ONMD to explode past 1.75. My average is 1.54 for anyone that has just joined. Come on. I think $2 is very possible here. Again, high a day is at 186. So I'm risking it all for the biscuit. Maybe I'll start to scale at 175, 177, but it's there we go, 173. I scaled some of my position here at 172. So guys, this is about 20 cents of profit here in just 20 minutes, and this is exactly why I trade low volume accumulation tickers rather than focus on where the volume is, chasing the volume, chasing the momentum. Why should I do that when I could just find where the volume is going to next? And that's exactly what happened here on ONMD. We absolutely nailed it. 20-minute hold, but it played out absolutely perfectly. By the way, I have just taken profit on my SOPA position. Not wasn't much profit at all. It was just 5 cents, but I sold the rest of my shares, which was half of my initial entry. I still think SOPA has major potential, but ONMD just got me very, very close to my daily goal, so I'm not really stressing much about being in another trade while scaling out on ONMD. Fantastic trade, guys. Worked out perfectly. Um, Someone said you have a target. My target has been 180, that area. Overall two, but I'm not really going to be holding much of my position anywhere close to that. But as you guys saw, we had CRML, we had ARBK. Both of those were fighting for volume, and ARBK has begun to slow down. So track down the minute, right? Let's track down the minutes. Let's go to CRML first. CRML started to lose its volume at 1350, right? 650 Eastern, I mean, sorry, Pacific, 950 Eastern, whatever it is for you. We're going to go off what it says on my trading view, which is 1350. So we started to lose volume on ARBK. Oh, hold on. Sorry, guys, I was just setting a stop on ONMD really quickly just in case it, just absolutely knifes while I'm giving this explanation. But, alright, let's go minute by minute here. We have CRML. CRML lost its volume at 1350. Now we're going to switch to ARBK. ARBK at 1350 absolutely exploded, right? From 77 cents to 87 cents. 10-cent gain on an 80-cent stock. That's about 15%, maybe 14, give or take. I'm not sure. But that's just a ridiculous. Wow, ONMD is exploding. I'm just continuously taking profit here. Sorry about that. But as you guys see, when both of these tickers lost their momentum at 1352, wow, ONMD, oh my god, I need to pull this up for you guys. We are in the fucking money, baby. What a play. How ridiculous is that? Wow. My gosh. My gosh, what a move. We have absolutely nailed ONMD. From 154. What a move. How ridiculous. And this is where I'm taking full profit. No reason to even be holding this for any second longer. Amazing. What a move. Sorry guys, I was a little distracted just scaling out, taking profit, but I'm fully out of ONMD. Um, Fantastic trade. So again, I was given a lecture before this trade worked out on why I'm waiting for volume to rotate into a ticker instead of chasing momentum, chasing volume. I will just sit back and just wait until the stock that I'm in to catch its volume. And the hardest part is being able to accurately find the stock that's going to run. And in this case, it was ONMD. We nailed it. We found it at 154 and we stuck with it for 25, 30 minutes until it ran. And the second hardest part is just timing your entry correctly, right? Not entering in at a moment where, it's close to just breaking downward, not getting in at a candle where, your mental health can be tested. Get in at the best and just, at the area where you feel extremely comfortable with the stock itself and you think, okay, even if this comes down another 10 cents, even if this comes down another 15 cents, which ONMD came down about 7 cents, 8 cents, or, I think the top was actually 5 cents, 6 cents from our entry, and I wasn't worried whatsoever. It was coming down, we had entered around this area here. It came down, tested 145, and I was not worried one single bit because I knew even if it had come down all the way to 141, all I would have been doing is just adding more to my position. So I had thought about that before I even entered the stock. I know exactly what's going to happen in any scenario, right? If it explodes, I'll take profit. I'll hold most of my position for 175, 180 plus, which I was telling you guys on the way up. I knew that this had potential to break past high day, not just hit it. And I always, I repeated to you guys at the beginning of market open that I only will trade a ticker that has a lot of room to pre-market high, and this is exactly why, because we nailed this pre-market high. It's trading at pre-market high right now. Pre-market high is an extremely important level, and if we're not, we already have broken pre-market high and we're trading above it into market open, then guess what? There's just not much more room. Where else are we gonna go? We're not gonna keep exploding till infinity. Obviously, there was a counterexample to that today, which is SPRB. But as I told you guys, this is just extremely unlikely. We don't ever see stocks like this. And I closed my Webull down as of now, so I'm just going to be focused on trading, or not trading, just I'm going to be focused on talking on TradingView because I know I was kind of looking at Webull, then looking at TradingView, back and forth, back and forth. But now that I'm no longer trading for the day, I could just dial in here. So this is great examples of volume rotation. Just look at this. SOPA is completely died off. CRML has completely died off. Nothing is close to taking volume now after ONMD just absolutely ripped it. And this was exactly what we have been looking for all morning. So there we go. We've nailed it. Fantastic day. I'm well above my profit target for the day. So good job on that mini. I'm in, you know, just absolute nail. Absolute nail on that ONMD trade. So I'm extremely satisfied with how today has gone so far, but let's keep let's keep our eyes on everything as of now. I'm still keeping my eyes on SOPA for when ONMD does slow down. If SOPA's holding above this blue line that I have here, this 3.1 level, which was the lower wick into market open for the first 5 minutes, if SOPA's still holding above this level, I think that there is solid potential here. Something that is going to be very well worth watching. Great lower wicks, great liquidity being grabbed under this 3.1, so ONMD looks like it's still going for more. I won't be touching that anymore today. You guys know I don't like to trade momentum, and no reason for me to be anywhere near that after we just nailed it for 50 cents. So again, SOPA has lost its momentum. It's trading far from pre-market high, and we're grabbing liquidity around a market open level, which to me is 3-1. So this is where I want to keep my eyes at. I know that SOPA can easily find the momentum, find the volume if it wants to. Now I'm done trading for the day. As I told you guys, I'm no longer taking any trades after ONMD. I hit my daily profit goal. No reason for me to sit here chasing, but I'm just saying, for you guys, for anyone who's watching who wants to enter a trade, who's looking for something to enter, I would SOPA. I mean, it's very obvious to me. I would just wait for ONMD to lose its volume, which it's looking like it's starting to right now, right? It's starting to lose its volume, starting to lose its momentum, but I still think it needs to come down just a little more, break under 175, lose structure, and then I think SOPA can start to steal that volume, steal that momentum. And my God, SOPA can easily, I think SOPA out of every other ticker on the market actually has the highest chance of just absolutely capturing all the volume and just exploding, right? It hasn't done it all day. Not sorry, not all day. All market open. This has been the one ticker that has not had its solid move. We saw ARBK, we saw CRML, we saw ONMD, which we were in. That's the trade that we took since market open. SOPA's the one stock that has not just grinded up and just actually had a solid run. But as I said, wait for ONMD to lose structure, lose its momentum, fully break under 175, and then I think SOPA has the potential. We'll keep watching it. I'll be here to just annotate, commentate um, for you guys. But yeah, what an interesting day, right? We just had barely any pre-market action. It was all stolen by SPRB. And then into market open, it was also a little rough. It was all over the place. It was all about just sitting back and just eyeing the next target, right? And that worked out very well for us. And just we held ONMD for 20 minutes plus. It paid off eventually. And now I think where the market's currently headed is just volume rotation between the top gainers, right? Just everything has worked out naturally so far, and I believe it will continue to do so, which is why I think SOPA is a very solid watch here above 3.1. So we'll see what happens. ONMD breaking structure, losing that momentum all the way back down, right? So there is no reason for anyone to sit and just continue to trade a ticker after, you know, it it already went, right? So like ARBK, for example, is a good counterexample to what I just said, right? This has been ripping nonstop, and if you kept on trading it throughout the day, you would be profitable at 80% of the points that you took today. If you just traded it and held it, you would be profitable. But this to me is just, it's not rare, but and the events that happen every single day and the stocks that run every single day, I think for us to see it more than one ticker that does this is pretty rare, right? So let's look at ONMD for example. There's no reason to be trading this on the way up, right? We were in at 154. We took profits from 170 to 190. So obviously we're not going to trade it again, but I'm saying once the momentum started coming in, once the volume started coming in, once people started chasing, that's where I start selling. And I will never ever trade a ticker that's captured volume midday and spiking up with volume, because keep in mind guys, there was accumulation happening all morning. There are people who have been loading up thousands and thousands of shares. We were one of those people, but there's people with much bigger position sizes. There's algos with much bigger position sizes that were accumulating this stock all morning. So think about the selling pressure they're going to exhibit when they start selling. That's exactly what happened here, right? So obviously there's been examples of stocks like this running all the way till $10, doing 10x's that have run in the middle of the day. But again, just look at the probability of that happening. It's not too high. So CRML is another example. I think CRML was lower risk than the average example of this of a stock that would just that should come down and shouldn't keep going up, but just because of how well it was uptrending. But again, I would never trade a stock that's this overextended, right? We went from 1150 all the way to 14, super overextended. There's just no reason to chase this, trade it somewhere in between here and try to aim, oh, let's see if I can get another 10% out of this at high of day, right? Not my style. I'm sure it works for a lot of people. I'm sure a lot of people can actually be very profitable at trading momentum because I see the opportunity throughout the day, right? I see the opportunity of taking CRML at this low here at 1260, right? Or trading it at 13 once it reclaimed 13, taking it all the way to 14. Or I see the opportunity of trading ARBK, right? Many ways you could have traded this today. You could have, someone could have been cuckoo enough to trade this on the 75 break. I say cuckoo, I say they're crazy, I say that there's just no reason to take that risk, but they can sit there and make 20% in a couple minutes. So it just really depends on what your edge is and, the style you like to trade and the style that you see an edge in, right? My edge is accumulation stocks, like finding ONMD down here at 150, very low risk, very high reward setup. These are the only setups that I personally like to trade because I can't get fucked on this. And it's not just that. I do very much have a preference in taking these types of setups. It's just this is where my edge is. So if you go look back at my YouTube channel see what I was posting 4 years ago, 5 years ago on this account back in 2020, 2021, go look at my Twitter 4 years ago. I was only a swing trader, right? I used to only swing, but there came a point where swings began to die and just became very frugal and unreliable. So I was like, okay, let me, my best friend was a very big day trader at the time. He would help me with day trades. He would tell me what to day trade, what to look at. I would give him swings to trade with me. And so I started day trading with him, and then he would only trade momentum, trade volume, and he was a person that I would consider cuckoo, and he still kind of is, even though he's kind of slowed down on that end. I found my edge in day trading, which is accumulation, right? Just trading this accumulation and finding the stock that's going to go next because this is how I trade swings, right? The Wyckoff method is based off accumulation. I would only find swing trades based off accumulation. I trade them at the lower range, and so I applied that logic to day trading. And I found something that works for me. I found an edge that works for me. It doesn't work 100% of the time. Nothing does, but it is a strong edge. So I hope that makes sense. And that rant was mainly for the people that will watch this live after it's already been recorded, and I'm sure that will help someone out into thinking about what edge can I take, what am I good at, that's really all it is. But yeah, so SOPA actually, what you're saying was the top watch as long as it continued to hold this 3.1, and as long as ONMD broke structure under 1.75, and that's why I told you guys to wait on SOPA because look, ONMD is right back above 175. It broke structure until 167. This isn't technically a break of structure because we're right back up to 175 plus now, but that's exactly why you just got to be patient, right? Obviously, it's volume rotation is not going to be easy for everyone to do. It's going to be tricky, and its main goal is to fake people out repetitively. So that's exactly what happened here, and then it didn't lose its volume, didn't lose its momentum, but SOPA did. SOPA broke under this 3.1. This is really the break of structure, ironically. Also, guys, if you've been here, I'm not sure. I haven't really been keeping track of this of the YouTube viewers, but if you guys have been here for the last 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you saw the nail we had on ONMD, and you guys want me to come on more often, just hit that like button, or just type in chat, say, yo, you should come on more. Just like, let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any preference over what I should talk about, especially after I'm done trading, like now, also let me know. Yeah, Ferris, I'll be on more often. Um, where's your stop loss on ONMD? I've been out of ONMD since 1.7 to 1.9 is where I scaled, so I've been out for a very long time now. Yeah, Ferris, I'll be on more often. I get busy, so um, it's hard to just stay consistent with it. But I'll try to be on like once a week, twice a week. So it's something I enjoy really. So I'll try to make time for it. But balancing, trading every single morning and then also loading up YouTube and setting everything up, that takes like 10, 15 minutes. And there's a lot of days where I don't have the energy for that. I go to UCLA, I'm a student, so just balancing that with sometimes having 8 a.m. classes, it gets annoying, and it's like something that is hard to stay consistent with, I guess. I'm also in my friend's Discord, so when there is time for me to be on, be active and alive, and just talk to people, then I always would prefer to help his Discord out and be in there because it's more like a community, more like a family. I'm not sure I understand your question, LXL. I mean, if it does not squeeze, uh, you have to make sense for me to for me to answer your question. Because I already said that I'm fully out. I'm fully out of ONMD. And we're kind of entering the time now at 7:20 where the market just begins to slow down. Keep that in mind as we start to lose momentum and volume everywhere. So ONMD as well as just consolidating basing at 170. It's starting to get weaker and weaker. I would be really surprised if this took high day again. I would be really surprised. That would mean that wow, this will this ONMD would really trap the volume for, I think, the next hour plus if this took high a day in the next 30 minutes. But alright guys, I'm gonna get off here. Usually I wouldn't really get off this early, but we nailed ONMD for a massive trade, over 50 cents. And yeah, I'm done trading for the day. I tried to stick around for as long as possible before volume started to get dry and things got boring. But yeah, hopefully I find time to be on later this week, maybe next week. Um, and I'll talk to y'all next time that I'm on. So safe trading, be smart, be wary, don't make dumb decisions. And yeah, you guys enjoy the